And I have Ezekiel Kralen's weekly installment of his story about the dogs. I don't see any dogs in here, but okay, maybe one will appear as it develops. I'm on a manic roll again is the title of this, Ezekiel Kralen wrote. Email and list correspondence, July 20th, 2023. Subject, you complete insanity, Mr. Sewers, from Ezekiel Kralen. A lot of us here will testify to that with a smile on our face and a glow in our hearts. Woohoo! Hate crime committed by MCN Lister from Ezekiel Kralen. On July 19th, make a foolish offer. Wrote, truth is exculpatory. I replied, haha. At first I read that as ejaculatory. Damn, I need new glasses, or I could just enlarge the screen. Make a foolish offer, wrote. Time to prove empirically that those statements are not true. I replied, is it now? Make a foolish offer, wrote, or are you just as full of shit as usual? I replied, well, I just took my morning dump with the aid of some strong Java with a wallop of prune juice, so I don't believe I am, Mr. Sewers. Kids, don't try this at home. Woo-hoo. Subject. I wish you weren't so damn fucking busy right now, Watson. To my dear Watson, Ezekiel Kralen wrote. The discussion list she is a poppin', exploding recently, really, sorry, and you're missing out on the hilarity. It's also spilled over into the announcement list, most notably George Dennis's post entitled Hate Crime Committed by MCN Lister, wherein he breaks down the criminal implications of Mr. Sewers' flyer. Abso-fucking-lutely brilliant. I can't keep up with the nonstop barrage of heated exchanges I'm cobbling together for my next chapter. Stunningly breathless, they keep pouring in. Funny, though, since well over 80% of the prose therein is not mine. This upcoming chapter will be called Lavender Phoenix Rising. Curiously and delightfully enough, while searching for an image of a lavender phoenix, I stumbled upon an organization by the same name, which motto is Building Transgender, Non-Binary, and Queer API Power. I've no idea just when this flurry of salvos will finally come to an end, but who knows, good doctor. It may go on for weeks or months, maybe years, perhaps even decades or centuries. I guess the discussion list is entirely mine now. So I suggest MCN admin change its title from Discussion to Zeke Talk. I'm sure I have your vote on this, or scintillating Osmim, Empress of both the mundane and the divine, the beastly and the angelic, the straight and the queer, and last but not least, the cat and the dog and all other creatures under the guidance of our good queer Lord Glob itself. Phew, boy, am I on a roll. But I guess I've been on a roll since October 30, 2020, when my Brindlekin Tales took off the first chapter of Book 1, entitled More Than a Hole in the Ground. But you're the first and so far only anthropoid to join me on this ride ever since its inception, but countless others are very soon to follow, obviously. Ah, here are the dogs, finally. Another beatific sleepover with the doggies was held by yours truly last night. Lucky slept in my arms half the time with his little noggin upon my shoulder, emitting brief groans and twitches as he dreamt his doggy dreams, while his sister lay belly up between my outstretched legs, her paws drooping like figs, hind legs splayed in trusting ease. He had to go poopy around 1:45 a.m., so off we went, including Flacco, to enjoy the refreshing cool zephyrs of the nocturnal realm for a lovely 10 minutes. Deke showed up minutes before 8 a.m. to pick him up. He was neatly dressed, accompanied by a shopping cart piled high with all sorts of colorful material and whatnots. He still had that behemoth speaker rolling behind his bicycle, and lodged in a granny cart, almost horizontally posed. The speaker was booming some awfully sweet rap tunes that I heard from across Market Street, announcing his imminent arrival. That must have been the E40 3-album collection he asked me to add to his music chip yesterday. As soon as I brought down the pups, he thanked me kindly, and they all took off in a flash. I sensed a stream of goodwill flowing between us as I stood by the open gate and watched my treasured trio wander off into the brave new day. Interesting that one of the Chinese construction workers had arrived early, hunched down by the parking meter enjoying a smoke, while Deke and Pooches were just feet away. 2 or 3 days ago, Deke had parked himself out front after collecting the dog, and hanged out there for about an hour. During this time, several Chinese workers were hammering, drilling, and sawing away in the gutted-out ATM nook. from which they had removed the plywood boards, exposing the entire space to the open air and allowing them to see Deke, and vice versa. So they are witness to my helping a homeless person in his furry charges, which may count for something later on down the road. However, I admonish Deke, when you pick up the dogs, you shouldn't hang out here but somewhere else. Otherwise, you make me a walking advertisement. Yep, I live here, and I'm letting a couple of homeless hounds stay with me overnight. That was the same meetup I showed him the notorious flyer and explained what it's about. Leave me out of this. I don't want no popo following me around, he blurted like the street punk he is. Sidebar. Didn't another fool say the same thing to me recently, Watson? My reaction to his meth-induced paranoid demand? Thusly. I started chugging my fists like slow pistons, arms half raised with elbows bent, and chanted, I'm a-workin' for the FBI, the FBI, the FBI, so don't you worry, Mama, baby, don't cry, 'cause I'm a-workin' for the FBI, I'm a-workin' for the FBI. Now back to this morning. Feeling on top of the world, thanks to Flacco and Lucky's sweet company last night and their master's phenomenal apology the day before, and his kind spirit this morning, I sipped on my artificially sweetened crank while seated upon the steps of that nutritional supplement shop for bodybuilders right there on the corner of 16th and Noe. A sunny, cool, refreshing start to my day, but who should appear barreling in my direction but that creepy, crusty old vagrant Wes, the one who made that vulgar comment about my kindness to the dogs, and who I now choose to ignore whenever we cross paths. My sunglasses were on, my head lowered as he passed by. But to my amazement, he called out to me from 12 or so feet away in a boisterous timbre, Good morning, Captain. Well, a good physician. That was obviously his way of apologizing and acknowledging my good work, so I hollered back, and a good morning to you, too. He then abruptly did a 180 and proceeded to march back in the direction whence he came, didn't stop to chat, but proceeded onward to cross 16th Street again while shouting to the sky with a raised fist, We got women's rights, we got civil rights, we got homeless rights. Upon hearing these boisterous declarations, I loudly called out to him, Good stuff, keep it up. And then I heard him bellow, And now we got the fourth pillar, LGBTQ plus rights. Followed by, without even once turning around to gaze back at me, his fist still raised brazenly toward the firmament, You have a glorious day, Zeke. And you too, Wes, I joyfully declared. To be continued.